G'day reefers, I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Welcome to Gallery Aquatica TV. Today we're doing a deep dive into the Waterbox Peninsula 25. We're going to show you all the ins and outs of this tank, how we would recommend setting it up, and the approximate prices to have one of these tanks. They make an excellent first marine tank, they're excellent for kids, they're easy to maintain. So let's check out the Waterbox Peninsula 25. So before we take the Peninsula 25 out of the box, we'll just notice that it's around about $420 for what you get in here. We'll have a look at the prices of some of the componentry that we're putting in as well, but let's take out the tank and have a look at exactly what you get. So here we go. This is the Peninsula 25. We'll take it out of its plastic so we can see it better. So, a few little items we'll just take out of the tank. So here you have it. Now, the reason why it's a peninsula is because you would typically have this filter section towards a wall and view the tank from three sides. Now, this is an excellent tank to have on a bench top, but you can actually get a cabinet for it and have it with a cabinet, but the filtration is all in the back here. I have seen these adapted so that you can have more filtration potentially in a cabinet underneath, but you'd need to drill the tank, and most of the Waterbox 25s that we see have got all the filtration in the back. So let's take you through the things that you get with it, and then we'll look at the added things that we would recommend to put on the Waterbox 25 Peninsula. So first of all, you get a little filter sock holder. We'll take this out and we'll put the filter sock in it, which is just here. And as water drains into this tank, into the filtration section, it goes through the filter sock. So this just sits up in the top. And the water is going to flow through the weir combing, through the filter sock, into this section, and out through the return pump in this section. Let's put the return pump in now. So for the $425, you actually get a return pump, which is this one here, little nozzle. The nozzle goes in like so. You get this bit of hose, which connects to the pump. The pump is going to go down in that chamber and it's going to connect to the outlet nozzle, which is, trying not to break the packaging, which is this here. It's going to go like so, and from the internal part of the tank, this was going to screw in. So we'll put our pump in place. All right, screws in like so. Ensuring that the hose isn't kinked, which it's not. There's our nozzle. After the tank has been filled with water, we plug that in, and that circulates water and it draws water into the filtration, through the filter, out the outlet. Now there is a filter media pack. These medias go in the middle section. You've got carbon, plastic biballs, and some sponge. Now, I would generally suggest customizing the filter in this section based on what suits you. Space efficient medias like Matrix are excellent. I normally use the carbon for the first couple of months and then replace it with biological media. I do use the sponge, but I don't normally use the plastic biballs. But this is effectively the tank setup. Let's have a look at the things that I would add to this to run it as a nano marine tank. So the first thing we'll put in, just for the aesthetics of the tank, is a little bit of rock. Now this is Carib Sea shapes rock, and I would generally go for a relatively simple structure, and something which is really just a couple of rocks. And the reason why I love this Carib Sea is because it's so easy to place in a way that looks good. So these are just two of the parts. This is an arch and the cave. And I'm just trying to get it stable so I feel safe. Okay, let's put it like this. Towards the back, something like that. Now, the choice of putting sand or substrate or no substrate really is a personal one. This tank we're not going to put any sand in, mainly because it's for demonstration purposes. I do normally use sand. Carib Sea Fiji Pink is my go-to. You only need a small bag of that, and I would normally put it in after the rock. This rock would be best secured with some epoxy. One pack of epoxy would be adequate, and the reason why I want it as a fairly basic structure is because the light that we're going to use is going to give us good par in this area, but I want some open sand around the structure because remember, this tank is going to be viewed from 3 sides. So this is our structure. Let's have a look at the lighting for this tank. The lighting we're going to use on this tank is a AI Prime. Now this is the freshwater. We're actually going to use the Prime HD 16, and we're going to use a flexi mount like this one. And there are a couple of options with the Prime lights. The Prime 16 HD is the one that I like the most. There is the Prime Sol, which is also adequate for this tank, but the Prime 16 is my favorite. We've got one from another tank that we're going to put on just to demonstrate. And this is it with its flexi mount. And this is going to sit just here, and we will put our Prime so that it's in the middle, aiming down onto our light structure, and that is going to be the perfect light for this tank. You can see it's a beautiful looking tank with the rimless finish, and the light on the mount like this makes it look really good. Now there's one last aspect that we need to choose for this tank, and that is the Wavemaker. So it's time to choose a Wavemaker for our Peninsula 25. And for me, the most important thing is that I want to keep the 3 viewing panels clean and free of Wavemakers or cables or anything like that. And what that means is our Wavemaker needs to be on the back, and that means we can't go for something like an Ecotech MP10 because their dry side would need to be in the filter, and of course the dry side of that Wavemaker can't get wet. So we need to look for something else. And today we're going to go for the Aquatica Smart Drift. Now these are an excellent little Wavemaker. They come with the option of Wi-Fi control, or they have a manual controller. So we'll set it up and see what it looks like on our tank. So I love the fact that there's no plastic in the packaging of these Wavemakers. You can see how small this Wavemaker is. And it is a relatively strong Wavemaker, especially for its size. And I love the fact that you can, you've got quite a good control with the angle that you choose with this system here. But we'll have a look at that in a sec. Now this is the magnet. Some people worry about putting these in the water, which is what we're going to do, given it's going to sit in our filter chamber. And what you can do is seal it in a bit of like in a plastic bag with a heat sealer or something. We're not going to do that today because we're just demonstrating it, but let's put it in and see how it looks. So I'm going to put it just to one side. I'll move our structure slightly. I'm going to try and angle it up, which means I need to put it like this. Okay, this will go like so. And the idea of having the Wavemaker here means that it will circulate water around. It's going to angle up so it'll have good rippling at the surface, and that will be the perfect Wavemaker to complement the aquascape we've got and the size and the dimensions of the tank. So that looks absolutely perfect. So there you have it. We have our Peninsula, our Waterbox Peninsula 25 all set up, and isn't it beautiful? Let's have a look at the major components and how much they cost. But first of all, we'll talk about some of the extra things that you could add to this system to really pimp it out. Now, the first thing would be the sand. As we mentioned, you could add a substrate like the Carib Sea, Fiji Pink. We also use a different variety, a number of different substrates that would be very suitable for this tank. You could put a heater in the filter, and potentially you could add more media and maybe even some more water flow depending on the types of corals you want to keep. But let's look at the prices of the different components that we have here today. First of all, the tank. As we said at the start, this tank, including the filter sock, the pump to run the filter, and some basic media for the filter, comes in at $423.50. The next major thing, of course, is the light. This Prime HD, which is fully controllable with an app, is $409.95. And the Flexi mount to support it comes in at $65.95. We've also got 7.5 kilos of Carib Sea shapes. Now, at a per kilo price, this comes in at around about $150. Then we have our Wavemaker, our Aquatic Smart Drift 3.1. That is $278.95. So a total price for this setup would be $1,328.35. So there you have it. For a little over $1,300, you've got the major components for a beautiful desktop Waterbox Nano. So hopefully you've enjoyed this deep dive into the Waterbox 25. We'll bring you more episodes looking at more tanks in the future and what it takes to set them up on Gallery Aquatica TV. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing. That's it for this week's episode of Gallery Aquatica TV. Don't forget to like and comment on all our videos and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned to Gallery Aquatica TV for more exciting episodes to come. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing!